Let's not sugarcoat this. Getting rich is not complicated. It never has been. What makes it feel complicated is the noise, the endless advice, the constant repetition of the same tired ideas. Work harder, stay positive, be patient. Good things will come. But let me ask you something. Has that actually worked for most people? Or has it kept them stuck, hoping, waiting, repeating the same cycle year after year? Because if you step back and look honestly, most people aren't getting rich. They're getting by. And there's a big difference between the two. The truth is uncomfortable. That's why most people avoid it. That's why they stay exactly where they are. This is where Niccolò Machiavelli's thinking becomes so powerful. He didn't deal in fantasy. He dealt in reality, and reality doesn't care about your comfort. Look around for a moment. What do most people do every day? They wake up, check their phone, go to work, complain about work, come home, switch off, and repeat. It feels normal, it feels safe, it feels like life. But here's the problem. Normal is predictable, and predictable people are easy to control. Think about that carefully. If your life runs on autopilot, if your decisions follow the same pattern every day, then you're not really in control. You're reacting, not directing. And the system? It loves that, because predictable people can be managed, taxed, and kept exactly where they are. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. Power belongs to those who see the game clearly, not those who blindly play along. You were told to work hard, save money, be patient. Wait your turn. It sounds reasonable. It sounds responsible. But let's be honest, where does that path usually lead? A lifetime of effort, for a fraction of freedom. 40 years of work, just to buy back a few years at the end. That's not wealth, that's delayed survival. Now compare that to a different approach. The rules of the wealthy are not the same. They don't focus on working more. They focus on owning more, owning assets, owning systems, owning outcomes. Because the person who owns the game doesn't just earn money, they control where it flows. And that is the shift most people never make. They stay focused on effort, while the wealthy focus on leverage. This is the foundation of what I call your legacy code. Not what you've been told to do, but what actually works in the real world. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Let's pause for a second, because this is where most people nod along. And then change nothing. If this is hitting home, take a moment and drop a comment below the video. Have you ever felt like you were doing everything right, and still getting nowhere? I read every comment, and I genuinely like to hear your experience. Because awareness without action is just another form of procrastination. And that's exactly where most people stay. Comfort feels good. That's why it's dangerous. It removes urgency. It softens ambition. It convinces you that things are good enough. But good enough never builds wealth. Comfort keeps you in routines that feel safe but lead nowhere. And here's the twist most people miss. The so-called safe path is often the riskiest of all. Jobs disappear, markets shift, inflation quietly eats away at everything you've saved. And yet people cling to stability as if it's guaranteed. It isn't. Machiavelli would have seen this instantly. Those who cling to comfort lose power. Those who embrace uncertainty gain it. So let's strip this back to something simple. No fluff, no theory, just the core principle. Wealth follows a pattern. Learn how money works. Position yourself where money flows. Take control of that flow. Protect it. Multiply it. That's it. That's the game. Not complicated, but not easy either. Because it requires something most people avoid. Courage. Courage to think differently. Courage to act differently. Courage to step outside the script you've been following your entire life. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people don't actually want freedom. They say they do. But freedom comes with responsibility. And responsibility is heavy. It means no excuses, no blaming, no waiting. Just action. That's why people stay in jobs they dislike. That's why they avoid risk. That's why they keep telling themselves one day. Because one day feels safe. Today requires courage, and courage is rare. So let's make this even clearer. A worker trades time for money. An owner builds something that produces money. One is limited, the other is scalable. You can work 10 hours a day, 6 days a week, and still hit a ceiling. But build something once, something that reaches people at scale. And your effort multiplies. This is why businesses create wealth. This is why content creates wealth. This is why assets create wealth. Not because they are easy, but because they are leveraged. And leverage is where the real game begins. Now here's where things get even more interesting. Because money isn't just about numbers, it's about people, and people are driven by two powerful forces: fear and desire. Machiavelli understood this better than most. He knew that understanding human nature can influence outcomes, and the wealthy use this every single day. They don't just sell products, they sell outcomes. Status, confidence, success, freedom. Think about it. People don't always buy things because they need them. They often buy because they want to feel something. And the moment you understand that, everything changes. Because now you're not chasing money, you're creating desire. And where desire flows, money follows. But let's not pretend this path is easy, because the moment you start thinking differently, acting differently, building something of your own, people notice. Some will support you, many won't. They'll question you, doubt you, talk about you. Why? Because you're stepping outside of the script, and that makes people uncomfortable. Machiavelli warned about this. If you want power, expect resistance. If you want wealth, expect criticism. It's part of the path, not a sign you're doing something wrong. A sign you've stepped into a different game. So where does this leave you? Right at a decision point. You can continue as you are, follow the routine, play it safe, hope things improve. Or you can start writing your own legacy code. A way of living that is intentional, a way of thinking that is strategic, a way of acting that is aligned with where you actually want to go. This is not about becoming ruthless, it's about becoming aware, because once you see the game clearly, you stop playing it blindly. And once you stop playing blindly, you start shaping outcomes. So here's the final question, simple, direct, unavoidable. Are you willing to face the brutal part? Because that's where the separation happens. Not in knowledge, not in opportunity, but in action. Most people will hear this and move on. A few will hear this and change something, and a very small number will commit. They'll take control, build something, create leverage, step into uncertainty, and over time, their lives will look completely different, not by luck, not by chance, but by design. That's the difference. That's the game. And now that you've seen it, the question is no longer, can you do it? It's, will you? If this video resonated with you, give it a like and subscribe so we can continue this journey together.